Life was pretty simple back then, until the Prohibition came, and everything changed, and nobody in my town will ever forget it. At all.
You gun and knuckles. I write my verses sober, yet I'm higher than a hover. I don't need a shovel, drop a flow so hard, and then I'm starting like a double. This is a grand finale, and got from Miami Valley. They feeling this shit I'm dropping from Dayton to Cincinnati. Your boy been on the move, I hit the lab and then I'm outie. I don't need no one around me, just my shorty in and outie. Pull up and I get exploiting, you rappers are so annoying. Give me a minute with any beat and I'll get the shit. I'm telling what I'm on now. Now I got my own sound. Rap about my vision till I got it for the whole town. They tell me that I'm up next.
My grandfather was alive during 1929, the year when the Great Depression came. A horrible time for anyone who wanted to make money. Everyone was poor. Streets were filled with innocent workers leaving their jobs. It was a dark time then. Police stations were having trouble too. They had to hire a lot of people who weren't even qualified policemen. But my grandfather was the best of the best, even though he had never been trained as a policeman. He was the best. Until... Police! Huh? I never knew what happened to my grandfather. All I know is that he died from a bullet to the head. When I was 10 years old, Grandma decided to tell me everything. My mother and father didn't think it was a good idea for me to know about the death of my grandfather, but after me crying, I learnt and got tougher-lipped, and I decided to listen to the story. Grandma gave me the will and told me that the last word was this. Johnson, when you are 20 years old, go to America. When I was finally 20, I went to the big city, the USA. It was very great, but I had a most important mission for my grandfather's last words. My job was to be a policeman. That was his final wish, beyond the grave, and that's what I did. At the police station, I begged and pleaded, but apparently there was an age limit. You had to be slightly older than 20, I discovered. I was about to go back home, disappointed. But then, the chief came up to me and said, "You're Johnson's kid, ain't you? From the Johnson's family in England?" "Yes. How did you know?" "Your grandfather, or your family members, are a close friend of mine. Your grandfather used to write letters to my great-great-grandfather. I still read them today. When I heard your grandfather died..." "Here, I can't give you a detective job, but this is the best I could do," as he handed me a mop. I wasn't that happy, but at least I got a job in America. But I still knew that my grandfather was looking down at me. Disappointed, but happy I got a job in the USA. I realized that I was working so hard. I discovered when I was cleaning a mirror one morning, I grew 5 o'clock shadow. My youth has left me. I was technically an adult now. I didn't even notice until now. Also, I realized who the chief asked or hired to be the next detective. A mysterious looking guy who always wore his hat, a pair of earmuffs, a cloth over his mouth and eyes, and a pair of goggles for some reason. I always felt suspicious around him because he never ever used to eat with the others. But he never seemed to feel hungry at lunch for some reason, and he used to always go into the bathrooms at random times. I never knew why he did that until one night I discovered the reason why. A fateful night, like I remember. I was looking over the papers that one of the policemen had left on his desk, By the looks of it, it was a crime of some sort. I turned the next page and saw no picture. There were no pictures of the criminal who was illegally connected to all these murders of bodyguards and higher class people. But all the papers said that the mysterious bodies had poison or some sort all over the body. But alas, I didn't know, because I wasn't a detective. I was a stupid old janitor. As I was about to put the files away and call a night, I suddenly saw something going on in the bathroom. I peeked through the door, and then my face went pale white when I saw who was in the bathroom. It was that detective guy, but then I realized who it was. As the detective in the bathroom was taking his stuff off, he revealed that he had scaly hands and scaly face features. He had no ears except holes where his ears would be. He only had 2 slits where his nose would be, and he had snake fangs. And the most noticeable thing was he had a pair of giant snake eyes. The yellowness of his eyes, the horrible slit down his eyes, as the mysterious figure growled down the screen, as he breathed in like he couldn't breathe underneath that horrible mask. He decided to pull a pistol out of his pocket. I was horrifically surprised when the mysterious figure walked towards the door. I hid behind some nearby filing cabinets as he walked out, not knowing I was there. Not thinking, when he came out of the bathroom, I hit him over the head with a mop, and that's how the story ends. Really? I don't get it, Mr. Johnson, said the barkeep who was cleaning his glass at the bar. How can you literally hit him over the head with a mop? Well, it's just how I did it, I said after I finished my drink. As I was about to take a last swig of my drink, 2 policemen came in carrying posters and glue. They stuck a large poster on the wall of the pub, and it said, "From now on, alcohol is 100% illegal until further notice. Anyone selling illegal alcohol will be sent to prison." I was mortified as I went up to the policeman saying, "You can't do this to this guy's business. It's wrong." The policeman said, "You and your friend there are immigrants. We don't really care about them or any of their businesses." The barkeep just sat there mortified and horrified by what they said. I went up to the policeman saying, "Look, I'm the detective, and I'm saying right now what you're doing is just wrong. You can't just stop a guy's business because it's illegal. Sure, the alcohol is banned, but you can't do anything just to stop him." The police just shrugged their shoulders and walked off. 2 minutes later, everyone was gone. The barkeep just sat there on a chair on a table with his last ever bottle of alcohol he was saving for himself. I went up to him saying, "Look, I'm not going to pay for this drink. We can share it together. Thanks. What am I going to do until the prohibition is over? I need money to keep this business alive." "Yeah, that is a problem," I said. But then when I looked around, I suddenly saw an empty bottle of sarsaparilla. "That's it!" "What?" said the barkeep. "I think I know what you can sell instead of alcohol. Sarsaparilla!" "Sarsaparilla? What's that?" "It's some drink that the Americans drink. It's really popular, and kids can drink this too, so you don't have to have the ban on kids." "That could actually work," said the barkeep. "By the way," I said to him, "I never knew your name." "Well, I don't really have much of a name, but everyone calls me Whiskey as a nickname." "I like your whiskey." And that's how Whiskey and I became friends. His business was booming thanks to my suggestion. But all I know is that this Great Depression won't just be a problem for him. It will be a problem for me, too.